Hello, I'm Phantom Operations, and I'm asking the question, why does Five Nights at Freddy's always come back? And no, that is not only a joke on the titular phrase,
I always come back.
but also a genuine question because not only does it seem that FNAF never truly dies, it somehow continuously keeps bringing in more and more fans while literally making genres. And there are many reasons for success and continuous renewal, but I can think of 4 main reasons as to how it truly never dies. I think most fans know this game's conception. Scott Cawthon was a video game maker that was down on his luck. He couldn't seem to actually make any games that could take off. But in his latest game, Chipper and Son, he was criticized by someone saying that his characters looked stiff and robotic, which was kind of unsettling. So he had his last go at making a video game by making a horror game using that same criticism. Of course, that being Five Nights at Freddy's. Publishing it on August 8th, 2014, a pretty linear game where you use cameras to locate animatronics and doors to prevent them from coming in. And immediately, the first point comes into play, that being good old bad luck. Now, there are actual reasons to why it took off that weren't just luck-based, some of which I will go into, but to keep it short, the horror industry wasn't the same place as it is now. They did have new games, but none of which you could really get into and really connect with like you could FNAF. Something about that story and level of characters just immediately just captivated people for some reason. And the funny thing is that those characters and story and whatnot were the basis of a couple of new genres. But the reason I say blind luck was the main key to his success initially is because no matter how hard he pushed it, no way in hell would it be where it is today without my chiseled boy Markiplier coming into frame. Him and a couple of other key players became synonymous with the franchise, not only propping it up for success, but showing it actual light, period. Okay, but back to story time. After the initial boom in popularity and, well, money, he immediately started working on a new FNAF game, FNAF 2, and quickly published it on November 10th, 2014, adding more animatronics to deal with, a new mechanic to stop them with the mask and lights while stripping you of the doors, and some other neat concepts like the music box and Balloon Boy's wrath. This game adds the second point, well, more of embolds it, being the story, where he expertly put into small segments after nights and deaths, and added more into the gameplay alone to make you ask, what the fuck is this? You know there's a child murderer, but you have no motive. You know the kids possess the suits, but how? And you know there was a bite, but is it 87? All to say, even though at this point the story isn't as convoluted as it is now, it still leaves a lot of mystery. The mystery keeps you thinking and keeps you wondering more and more and wanting to know more about this game. You have this feeling that the pieces are there, but they never quite fit just right. And even today, that is still present, just kind of upscaled 100-fold, making it at times convoluted and messy, but still enjoyable. You don't need to read the books, but there are things that may help you figure out this mess of a story. But this story keeps people playing. And as long as you are still thinking about it, you want to know more, it keeps the fan base alive and keeps things rolling, even without any games, books, whatever nots coming out. You still want to know and have your ideas and want to see others. Keeping on our story crusade, Scott had no intention to stop banging out FNAF. 4 months later, on March 2nd, 2015, downscaling to one animatronic come after you, aka Springtrap, and a bunch of passive Phantom animatronics. That keeps the pressure up, while putting more emphasis in the story with more mini games that all come together to tell you the tale of the purple guy's pseudo-death, and even had a cool little twist with a good and bad ending. This was supposed to be the end for Five Nights at Freddy's. JK LOL, we got another one for you, of course. FNAF 4 comes rolling out more officially, calling itself the final game, and July 23rd came around and gave us a finale, which was a cool concept and finally added movement. That's it. Not free roam, but we're getting there. It uses more auditory threats as well, and even better designs of animatronics that make them horrifying. Some even say that this is the scariest FNAF game. Now, if you've been paying attention, the first game came out August 8th, 2014. And the quote-unquote finale and fourth entry came out July 23rd, 2015. In a year, Scott Legend fucking Dairy Cawthon created 4 games in a schedule only God himself knows. This is one of the things that keeps FNAF alive, is just the constant supply of media. Not only in games, but also in books, inside games, merchandise, movies, all that glitz, glamour, and galore. Even when he slowed down for Sister Location, taking over a year to produce, he still kept us thinking through the side game FNAF world, as polarizing as it was, and a new book series in the Silver Eyes, which is just genius overall. Basically saying, if I can give you the main shit, I can still feed you with something. In almost 10 years, he has done more than not only some people, but companies will do in their entire lifespan. All to say, in honor, not only in 10 years almost of FNAF, as I'm writing this, it is a little less than 3 weeks till the anniversary, but also the achievements this game has made. There have been 7 mainline games, those being Five Nights at Freddy's 1, 2, 3, and 4, Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location, Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria Simulator, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Break, and Ruin DLC. There have been 6 side games, scaling differently not only in size but also in seriousness, those being FNAF World, Ultimate Custom Night, FNAF Help Wanted, Freddy in Space, FNAF AR, and FNAF Help Wanted 2. There are 26 books that have been made, including 3 FNAF books/graphic novels, those in the Silver Eyes and blah blah blah, 3 guidebooks, 12 Fazbear Frights novels, and 8 Tales from the Pizzaplex. Sweet Jesus. Now, for some crazy stats. The FNAF games have made almost $33.5 million on Steam. There have been 130,000 people who have played FNAF games, period. The highest viewed video on FNAF is 364 million, that video being FNAF 1 Song by The Living Tombstone. And Markiplier's original video on FNAF has 119 million views. Lastly, in my eyes, Scott's proudest achievement is the FNAF movie, which is getting at least 3 movies in total. The movie performed well, amassing nearly $300 million with a production cost of only $20 million, which, even with advertisements, is still a huge gain for just, little indie project. They were nominated for some awards, however critics didn't really enjoy this game, but it was clear that this wasn't intended for the average Joe, but someone who enjoyed the games and really just wanted to enjoy it. Or someone who wanted to have a fun time and be like, ooh, FNAF, why not? Thank you, Scott, for 10 years of FNAF, and congrats on the movie. Well, actually, didn't you say 4 points? There were only 3 there from how I've counted. How observant my pedigree, chum. There is one more that was exaggerated with this awards ceremony that I just presented. Thanks for spoiling the mood. But that was the ever-expanding market of FNAF. They have delved into books, movies, games of different genres as well. And so much goddamn merch. Oh god. Scott has never been afraid to take things into wildly different scenarios without ever losing his way and veering too off course. FNAF 4. Sorry about that one. Even at his lowest, he has strived to keep going and expanding, showing just how much of an impact one can have. To recap, this franchise, for all of its faults, started with just a sliver of good luck and a pretty mysterious story. It kept the train coming with constant content and reaching out to different atmospheres and genres. And it was done so well that genres have been made. 2, in fact. FNAF itself is a genre. So many games were made because Scott did something no one else dared to do. Let the fans do what they want with the concepts they liked and the things that they fucking enjoy. Which not only kept the hype alive, but made some incredible ass games and gave some people their starts to bigger careers. Some being the joy of creation. Pop Goes, Super FNAF. Just name a few of the thousands of fan games there are. That's probably actually understating it too. And also, in my opinion, the more influential of the two, for better and for worse, mascot horror. That idea of a face or characters that are bad. They're bad. Don't get near that shit, please. But for some reason, just so easy to latch onto them, which sparked some amazing games that wouldn't have been a thing if it wasn't for FNAF, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Poppy's Playtime, and the creme of the crop, Garten of Banban, to name a couple. This game hasn't had its staying power all because of luck. That is almost never the case. There is a fundamental love for the characters Scott have made and the story that he is still weaving. And I have a funny feeling that we have just seen the beginning of a large mega tie-in of horror. Thank you for watching the first installment of Why, a series where I just ponder why something has done this or why that is going on. If you have any other suggestions or questions that I should ponder, leave them down below. Horror or not, I can still babble my way past it. And until next time, see ya.